Okay, so, welcome back to another segment of What Would They Think? And basically where I take two characters and more or less put them together to see what would it be like if these two characters met, and what would they talk about, and how well would they interact with one another. And as you can see from the title, I'm going to be talking... what would Dr. Doom think of Master Cyclonis? I totally am spacing out here, but yeah. What would Dr. Doom and Master Cyclonis think of one another? I think these two would have a lot in common out of any character, whether it be Darth Vader or whatever. I think Dr. Doom would probably has the most in common with Master Cyclonis. Probably even more so, because I did this once again with Megatron. But even more so, I think Doom would have a lot more in common with her than Megatron would. So let's talk about this. So if Doom and Cyclonis ever met, what would that be like if Doom and Cyclonis ever met? I think Doom would be, of course, impressed that a young teenage girl has literally has control of an entire empire, has thousands of warships, thousands of soldiers at her command, and has an empire that more or less spans nearly half the... We don't know how big the Atmos is, but we do know that Cyclonia does have a large hold on it. She basically has a lot more, she has a bigger empire than the entire country of Latveria. That's, so I think Doom would be incredibly impressed and just he would be annoyed. Because, yeah, a child has more control over the world, than he does. Having said that, though, I think Doom would, again, have a lot of respect for her and a lot of admiration for her, now, Cyclonis, on the other hand, Cyclonis would really, be impressed by Doom, seeing, this guy encased in armor and a master of both magic and, science and magic. That would be a thing Cyclonis would really want under her belt. She may be a master of crystals, but I think she'd want to be she'd want to learn how to use magic. I think she would really like to know how to use magic, because crystals are they're kind of referred to as a form of science in Atmos, in the Stormhawks universe. So I think it would be interesting to see, Doom take her under his wing and be her master of sorcery and really teach her how to use magic. And in return, I think Doom would really want to get control of some of these crystals, because if you gave some of these crystals to Doom, there's no telling what he would do with them. If you gave some of these crystals to Doom, there would be no telling what exactly would be, there's no telling what could go wrong. Yeah, let's just say it would be a disaster. It would be a disaster if Doom got a hold of some of these crystals. Even something minute, he would probably find something useful for it. Now, Doom, I think, would be sort of impressed. I think he would take a look at, Ravis, Snipe, and Dark Ace. I think he would look at Ravis and Snipe and be like, I would not trust either of you. I would, if I had to depend on either of you, I'd rather just get one of my Doom bots. Dark Ace, I think he would be impressed by. I think he would be, impressed by, out of all of them, it would be Dark Ace. And I think he would want to have Cyclonis, ask, hey, can I borrow him for a bit? Yeah. But anyway, so Doom, among other things, I think Doom and Cyclonis working together, they could, swap a lot of secrets between one another. Not just magic for, crystal technology. I think Cyclonis would really like to have, technology to build robots, because I'm pretty sure she would like to have machines at her disposal than the Talons, because let's face it, the Talons are always failing, and I think she would look at the Doom bots, or the other robots that Doom has under his control and he's created, and they see how obedient they are, see how powerful they are. I think she'd want to have schematics to build her own Cyclonatrons, or something of that nature. Why did I come up with that name? Yeah. But anyway, so that would be, I think that would be kind of another trade-off, is that, yeah, Doom would, but here's the thing, would Doom of course Doom and Cyclonis would not fully trust one another. They'd be allies, but as of course, there's only one person that Doom trusts more than anyone else, himself. And, yeah. Of course, this would be the typical villain alliance, but I think they would be, for the most part, I think they would be working for each other for a while for mutual beneficiary reasons. But when that kind of is built up, you know, when they're done being beneficiary to one another, they're gonna turn on each other. It's kind of a villain thing, you know. It's kind of a, you know, it's kind of in villains' nature. But again, I don't see them, you know, honestly having those problems up front. Now the other thing is, of course, if Doom ever let Cyclonis see Latveria, I think she would be mildly impressed, even though she would be like, so you just have control over one country? That's pitiful. I've got half of a planet. What do you have? This? And to which Doom, I think that would be the major thing, is that Doom would be, even though he wouldn't admit it, he'd be jealous that a young girl has more control, has a bigger empire than he does. I think that would be kind of the driving thing in the back of his head, that he would just resent Cyclonis always, but still have some, even though he'd have some resentment, there'd be some respect there in between that as well. So, yeah. But, yeah, these two, if these two ever, you know, if Cyclonis and Doom ever, you know, teamed up, there would be some consequences for both Atmos and Earth. Because imagine if, again, if Doom could get a hold of some of those crystals, especially some of the more powerful ones at Cyclonis' disposal, or some of the ones she created herself. Just let that sink in for a bit of how screwed the world would be if Doom got a hold of some of those. Just kind of sit back and think about that for a second. Just really wrap your head around that for a moment. Yeah. So, but of course, like I said, Doom and Cyclonis would only work together for so long before, you know, the two villains can't seem to coalesce. Whole spiel going on there. But yeah. So, yeah, I think this would be a lot of fun. Like I said, I think out of all the other villains, like even more so than the Megatron comparison with Cyclonis, I think they would have kind of like a villainous, not father-daughter relationship, but more like master and apprentice kind of thing, because Doom is, even though he doesn't have a big, you know, country, he does have a very big brain, and he does have the time platform, and the Doom bots, everything. He would give, you know, Cyclonis would want so much from Doom. There would be so much that she would want from Doom, and she'd be willing to give him anything he wanted for that kind of knowledge. And again, I think Doom and Cyclonis would also be, you know, very respectful towards one another, even though, like I said, it would kind of eventually break down between them. But I think they would kind of respect one another's just devious intelligence and how they view the world. Because Cyclonis honestly believes, yeah, the world would be total chaos if Cyclonia didn't rule over it. And that's kind of the same thing with Doom, where Doom said, yeah, I traveled once across the entire multiverse and made only one discovery. If the world is going to survive, it needs to be under my control. And that's actually true. Doom, Dr. Doom, traveled the multiverse and looked at all these different realities and timelines and universes and saw how bad each one got. One was worse than the other, but there was only one possibility. Dr. Doom had to take control of the universe by, you know, he had to take control of the Earth by force. That was the only way the human race and the planet and the universe itself was going to survive. So again, I think they would reach some common ground. Doom and Cyclonis would reach some common ground on that front. But yeah, so anyway, you guys tell me, what do you think it would be like what would Dr. Doom think of Master Cyclonis? Just comment below, let me know, and once again, I hope you all enjoyed this, and I will see you guys later.